I am your host, Anabel, live from the studios of Miami's Community News. Today we have Juan Ganem Rojas. He is a business consultant for ADP. ADP used to be automatic data processing, and now it's always designing for people. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Today's show is sponsored by Heyday Marketing. Heyday Marketing is a premier public relations and marketing agency based right here in Miami, Florida. Heyday Marketing was recently awarded Fastest Growing Business in 2022 by Inc. magazine. Okay, Juan, tell us a little bit. Right before the show, you said ADP rebranded. So it went from automatic data processing, which is a cloud-based organization, correct?
Yes.
To help businesses with human resources, payroll, taxes, amongst many other things.
That is correct.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so ADP, for over 70 years, we've been the leader in this area. We've actually pioneered other areas like you just mentioned, benefit strategies, insurance, human capital management, which is a big area, which we focus on making sure that the employees that we're looking for, we have the right process, we're looking in the right areas, we're dotting our I's, crossing our T's. But ADP's, with its rebranding, we've positioned ourselves in 140 countries, all 50 states, and we really are your ally. We're an extension of your company to help you navigate the world that we currently live in, not only on the taxing side, on the benefit strategy side, but more importantly, how can we position you to be an employer of preference? Right now, with the current, grand resignation that the world is going through, a lot of businesses are really looking and kneeling on us to provide them that strategy. Why? As a business owners, now you're spending more and more time in the nitty gritty. But if you're losing employees, which are the backbone of a business, how can we position you in a way to be that employer of preference, but not take your eye off the ball? So that's where we come in. We strategize, we align ourselves with the business's goals, where they see themselves in the short term, midterm, and long term. Because the beautiful thing with ADP is that we're designed to scale with you. We're designed to go down with you if that is what you're looking for. If you're looking to be more lean, if you're looking to, let's say, for instance, outsource your human resources, outsource your benefits, that's where we come in. And we're a one-size-fits-all, but we're also very strategic as to how we place these, how do I say it, costs, but also benefits. So it is a beautiful conversation to have with business owners, to understand where they are today, where they want to go, and have a meeting of the minds and see how we can help them grow and stay consistent.
That's great. And you were telling me earlier, or actually in a phone call the other day, that ADP helps businesses of all sizes.
Yes.
As long as there's 2 employees, you said?
Well, no. So we could do up to one. So
Okay.
S corps business, yeah, exactly. That's a big misconception for most
Yeah.
people. So let's say, for instance, S corps, for the majority of the time, they have to have payroll. So that intricacy can become a little bit, how do I say it, difficult, because you can miss paydays, you can miss tax filing dates. And if you think about it, you're a business owner running your whole business, your employees, these things can fall through the cracks. And although, they're not money generating tasks, they could definitely hinder you on penalties, on late filings, on audits. So that's where we want to, and I reinforce this again, we want you to focus on growing your business. If you're a doctor, seeing your patients, helping your staff, if you're an attorney, same thing, and let us guide you and navigate this together successfully.
Absolutely. And ADP is a very large company, as you mentioned. It's in 140 countries across the world. However, the amount of employees, is it like 600,000?
So that's a very good, interesting stat.
Yeah,
So
60,000.
we are 60,000,
Yeah.
but we are also 600,000.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
that stat that you just got is based off our total source PEO.
Okay.
So PEO is a very interesting model. It's called Professional Employer Organization. And ADP's PEO is actually the largest in the country. And it makes us actually the 3rd largest employer. So what we do, and that's why we're 600,000, is companies that want to offer Fortune 500 benefits, want to put themselves in a good place as far as benefits is, get group rates. But let's say, for instance, you're a private equity firm with only 20 employees, but you're generating, 30, 40 million a year. To an insurance agency or an insurance carrier, you're not a group. So these companies are getting, individual rates, which is actually hurting them. What our PEO does there is that we're going to go ahead and put their employees under our EIN, which now we're a group of 600,000.
Oh,
So now your
wow.
benefit strategy becomes a lot more favorable, leverages on your side. We're able to reduce the rate hikes that a lot of people are experiencing right now, which is causing a lot of turmoil because if you think your benefits are expensive, imagine coming back with a rate increase of 10, 15%.
Wow.
Kind of breaks the bank, right?
Absolutely.
So that's where our PEO. So that stat that you bring out is actually great because those are our employees. We have skin in the game with them. We make sure that they're getting taken care of, that they have the very similar benefits or exactly to what we have. So it's a beautiful model that allows companies to be competitive, to drive, the culture, to drive, our care for our employees as much as we care for the business. So yeah, it is 60,000 actively that work directly under there, but with our PEO model, it takes us to 600,000.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And so you're a business consultant. What areas do you cover?
So the beautiful thing here with ADP is I'm more concentrated in the South Florida area.
Okay.
But South Florida being one of those hybrid states that works a lot with New York, California, Chicago, that area, our partners or centers of influence like accountants, marketing agencies like Heyday allow us to get that reach. So although I am kind of fixed here as physically as a person, my reach with virtual calls, the world has changed a lot. So it allows me to participate in areas like that. Our phone calls are center of influences. How do I like to say it? People like to do business with people they like, people they enjoy,
Correct.
people they trust.
They create relationships with.
Correct. So ADP with their technology and always giving us the tools to have that reach, to have that personal touch, has really allowed my business web to kind of spread and reach different parts of the country where I was kind of limited.
Correct.
Although I do focus in South Florida, I've been here for the last 28 years of my life, don't plan on leaving. It does give us an opportunity to have that human to human contact. I can go visit my clients, my prospects, and all of that.
I was actually going to bring that up. Like these small mom and pop shops, since probably don't speak English, you go and personally help them, assist them in how would you say, starting the whole ADP process.
Of
So
course.
it's like a very personal, okay, that's great.
Yeah. So you said a word right there that's very important, personal. This is personal. Your employee's not getting paid, you not getting paid. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible feeling to experience. So we do take it personal. Myself, my colleagues, my executives, my VP, we all take it personally because something that's my everyday job is everything for someone else. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, us making sure that you get paid on a timely manner, all of that is huge. So yes, we do go visit you in person if that's your preference. That is my preference. I love the human side, but with COVID-19 and everything like that, and not only that, business owners getting pulled in so many directions, wearing so many hats,
Absolutely.
sometimes their time is a little bit limited.
Yeah.
So that gives us the ability to go in there, make it personal, go straight to the point so that we can leave there with a meeting of the minds and help relieve that burden. You did say something important about what size.
Yes.
Everyone thinks that ADP is about big, large-scale companies. Our bread and butter is the small business sector.
That's
If you think about what constructs the majority of businesses in the United States, approximately 90% are less than 5 employees. So think about that. Those are the majority of mom and pop shops or small, but that's 5 individuals you got to manage. That's 5 different taxing you got to do.
Wow.
So when you think about 5 being small, it's a matter of perspective.
Correct. I agree. I agree on that. To take that workload off of them, like the scenario that I have in my head right now is like a small little bakery that just opened with 4 or 5 employees. The business owner has to make sure the pastries are getting done or making sure that the business is running accurately. So to take that burden off, I mean, it's huge. And you speak Spanish.
Yeah. Yes. I'm actually, I was born and raised in Colombia.
Oh, nice.
So if anyone needs any Spanish speaking, English, a little hybrid because some words in payroll actually kind of escape you.
Oh,
So we can definitely have a conversation in either or.
And you were telling me a little bit about the show that, well, you've been with the company since 2014.
2015.
2015. And You actually left medical school
Yes, yes, yes,
and you
yes.
love what you do. I mean, obviously, you've been there for so many years.
Yeah, yeah. I've been very fortunate that when I decided to leave medical school and change careers, I really did my due diligence. I can thank medical school for for being that prescribed. And I fell in love with the company. I had a couple friends that were working in different departments, not sales, and they were all speaking the same language. How invested ADP is in us, how invested they are in their clients, the benefits we provide, and I'll honestly say the education you provide us.
Yeah.
Because me coming from the medical background, it's always evolving. There's always things changing, and you got to stay on top of the ball.
Right.
In this industry, that's what's happening. If you think about the last 3 years, so much new legislation has come out, so many new acts,
Yeah.
so many new business helps, credits, tax credits.
Yeah.
ADP gives me the ability to, how do I say it, pioneer that. And
Okay.
by what do I mean? They give us the tools, the resources. If I need a little bit more understanding or clarity on the employee retention credit, they will get me a specialist where I can sit with, ask questions, hypotheticals. Why? Because I'm actually the one in the trenches.
Yeah.
I'm the one leading that result. But I've been at other companies where that isn't the case, where it's like, hey, we hired you because you should be able to go do that on your own. And it's like, I understand that, but there's a brand, there's a solution that needs to go with this legislation. And ADP always, how do I say it, positions us in that way so that I can be a better consultant for my
Yes.
customers.
That's going above and beyond.
Oh, yeah, yeah. ADP, I would, yeah,
That
that's,
is-
I think that should be their slogan, above and beyond.
Yeah. Remember that ADP, the little tagline. So now, how would you say? I was going to say there's 70 here that I have here. I have noted. So you guys have been open for 70 years.
Yeah, over
That's a
70.
long time. And I can only imagine how it started because 70 years ago, you don't have the technology that you have today.
Oh, no.
So it just keeps growing and growing. And I am interested in understanding how ADP handles the human resources part of it because you always
Yeah.
think you need a human for human resources. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, the human resources aspect is very critical for a company. But when you think about the usage you get out of it, sometimes you don't get the bang for your buck.
Okay.
And I'll put it that way. Nothing against the human resources professionals. They're phenomenal. We work with a lot of them. We hire a lot of them. It's just think about that bakery scenario you just did.
Yeah.
Where can I sit this human resources person?
Right.
Where can they take a place in my restaurant? Right. So then you think about how can I keep my company profitable? How can I keep my margins healthy? So that's where ADP came in and said, hey, listen, for that HR person or that HR professional that you need to come and sit with your employees once a week, once a month, come and have that dialogue, those conversations. ADP provides that for you.
Wow, that's wonderful. Okay.
So we do it twofolds in our Total Source platform. You would actually get someone physically there for you
Okay.
in live in person.
And it's non-biased because it's not somebody that's actually working within the organization. So they're hearing a new perspective and they're not going to be biased. Wow, that's really
Exactly. Their pay doesn't depend on how that conversation goes, things of that nature. So it kind of removes that, kind of gives the employee a safe place to speak with someone.
Yeah.
But when we think about the small business aspect, the more of the human resources utilities come with, I need to write someone up. What procedures do I need to take? Someone came to work smelling like alcohol, or hey, someone was stealing. Here in the state of Florida, you got to be very particular, or here in the United States to be overall, you have to be very particular on how you handle those situations. Correct. So we like to be very proactive. ADP can be an amazing firefighter. We can put out fires, but we like to be proactive because that's going to prevent, costly fines. It's going to prevent headaches. It's going to prevent, the tarnishing of the company culture. So with that, in that case, right, we offer you an HR team located here in South Florida of more than 10 years experience, but they're available to you through the phone, through email, or through our chat service.
That's great.
So it's a really neat service because if you think about, hey, I need to write up someone that continues to be late. When you think about where can I get that document? How can I produce it? What are the instructions to go about it? What if that person doesn't want to sign it for me? What if they stormed out and left?
Yeah.
That's where our professionals come in. We'll walk you through the entire A through Z process, and we'll even provide you with the documents that need to be printed, signed by either a witness or the employee. So it really is a great handholding tool, but we also educate you, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that sometimes we're not going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes this can happen at a whim, and we take that educational approach so that you can navigate that too.
Yes, I think that human resources aspect is the greatest thing, because sometimes you feel like discriminated, but I don't want to say that harsh word. So if you take it to your boss, like, how can you take that to your boss, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if the person that you're accusing of discrimination is your boss. So
Well,
that's where you guys come in.
exactly. Well, that's a sticky situation.
It varies. So that's really good to hear. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I think when people think about ADP, you think payroll, you think taxing. If you think about the conversation we just had, we didn't even cover that, right? We didn't cover taxing, we didn't cover
Correct.
payroll. And that's because that's, how do I say it? That's the entryway into everything else we spoke about. So we spoke about human capital management, the benefits side of things, the human resources side of things. But what people also forget is that ADP is an insurance company.
Okay.
So all, our construction companies that need workers' compensation, that are on a traditional model where you just make sure that you pay a monthly fee, and at the end of the year, at the end of your policy, they give you an audit, and then either you're short on money or you overpaid. So you're either way at a disadvantage, because you're going to have to cough up some money, or you're going to say, hey, I was short money the whole year because I was overpaying. This is where ADP has really made a big impact to my customers. I have a big construction base.
Okay.
So if we're able to write you under our workers' comp policies, we eliminate the deposit. So we all automatically allow you to have some more cash flow in your business, right? But what a lot of people don't know is that workers' comp is proportional to your payroll. The state of Florida is what's called a fixed rate. So for example, you come to me and you tell me, hey, I do window painting. This is just an example. And the state says, hey, that's 10%. That means that out of $100 you pay an employee, $10 goes to the workers' comp.
Okay.
Now, if I went the traditional way and I was going through a Geico, I got to give them an estimate, and my payments are based on estimates. I gave them a 20% down, but I could be out of work for some time because I'm a contractor.
Right.
So my estimate is going to be over. So I'm losing that money. I'm having the pressure of having to keep that policy up to date, because that allows me to go look for work. If I submit a contract, I need to show proof of insurance, right? But that proof of insurance doesn't exist if I haven't paid.
Yeah.
ADP, when we tie it up with our payroll, if for whatever reason you have a lapse in time because you haven't started a new job, your policy maintains active. Since it's tied into your payroll, whenever you go and process payroll, our system's going to calculate that rate that the state assigned you, and we're going to make as accurate payments as possible, so that when the audit time comes in, you can work with our audit team as well. But you're going to see that the funds and the allocations are, how I'd say, 90 to 95% accurate.
Wow.
So for them, it limits the burden of, putting out money when you don't really have it because you're not receiving.
Right.
But it also gives you the ability to be dangerous and go look for work and continue to put yourself out there without, losing all that money. So that's a little thing that a lot of people don't realize.
Yes.
That we can save you on the deposit, we can save you on the audit. Through our technology system, you could also create your certificates of insurance, which is huge.
Wow. Okay.
Most people call their broker and they're waiting a day, 2, 3 days, because that broker is a business owner too.
Yeah.
And he has 7 different jobs to do at the same time, just not only send the certificate. So if I could sign off on that, I would definitely say that.
And how can someone reach you if they're interested in learning a little bit more?
Oh, of course. Please. My phone number, it's always personal. I don't give my office line because I don't spend too much time there. I'm
Okay.
always out in the street.
That's
So
good.
if you want to reach me, my phone number is 786-239-6991. We can have a conversation, do a compliance review, see where you are at, talk about some hypotheticals. This is at no cost at all. We'd love to understand what you're seeing right now, what are some of your challenges, and position some of ADP's solutions to see if this makes sense.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Juan, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Heyday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am your host, Anabel, with A Day in Miami, live from the studios of Miami's Community News. And we just heard from ADP's business consultant, Juan Ganem. Have a great day.
Thank you.